Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with a new Mr. Informal podcast. I hope you are doing well today. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are enjoying your day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. So again, I go by the name of Mr. Informal. This is the Mr. Informal podcast 203. 203. Yes, you heard that right. On to 203. Not only that, next week is actually Labor Day weekend, so it's going to be a 3-day weekend. I am absolutely excited for that. So please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MisterInformal, and then check out my website, mrinformal.com, mrinformal.com. So what do we have for 203 podcast topics? Well, number one, Instacart will actually deliver bigger items now. Number two, what is the cost of shortages? Number three, clear Sprite. No more green bottles, they're turning into clear. Last but not least, Net-a-Porter is actually up for sale. So we will see how that is going to go down. So those are the 4 topics for this Mr. Informal Podcast 203. And so let's go ahead and start the podcast. On to the first topic from RetailDive.com. Instacart launches delivery for large items. Instacart announced on Wednesday it is now offering same day and scheduled delivery for large non-food items. Under the big and bulky category on Instacart Marketplace, customer can shop for furniture and home goods, electronics and appliances, sports and outdoors equipment, office supplies, cleaning supplies. The bulky item deliveries also offered from select retailers Instacart Power website. That almost means that you might not even need a car in this day and age if this is what's happening. With its newest service offering, Instacart is expanding delivery capabilities beyond its grocery focus and branching further into non-food categories. So, don't be surprised if Uber Eats or Uber Delivery also does the same thing, because they want to compete. And if you are living in big cities like New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, you might not even need a car. So, Instacart positioned the new bulky delivery service as a way for customers to get both their groceries and order large items alongside each other. For retailers, the new service allows them to offer more their catalog through Instacart, the company said. With football season just around the corner, Instacart Big and Bulky Solution could provide customers with items like portable grills and tents, or tailgate, or a 55-inch TV in case they're watching from home, all in as fast as an hour. Daniel Danker, Chief Product Officer at Instacart. Well, Instacart said that Big Lots, the Container Store, Office Depot, Spirit Halloween, and Staples are among some of the first retailers to use its new bulky item delivery option. Well, now, if you have an SUV or even a crossover type car, this actually benefits you because you can actually put larger stuff in there. And again, I'm going to say it again, this is the closest type of delivery method to the point where you won't even need a car wherever you live. But certainly to those who do not live in the big cities, does not benefit you. This does not benefit you because you probably go out to pick up your stuff. Not only that, but if you are feeling lazy, certainly this is a great way. If you're a college student, this is also a great way of buying or having big items delivered to your dorm or wherever you live. And the competition is definitely going to copy this. I think this is a great idea. I know that there are many who do not have a car, especially if you're from a different country. If you're an international student, this is also a great way of doing this. I think this is absolutely great. Now, I am curious as to how much the fees are, so we'll see about that. But nonetheless, groceries and your big items, especially those who love shopping at Target, well, now this has definitely changed the game. It's a game changer. Also, Geek Squad. The only worry I have about this is that the person who's picking your items up better be careful putting this stuff in their vehicle. Make sure it does not damage your items, especially if it's ceramics or any fragile type items. Whether it be again ceramic, could be a light fixture, could be a chandelier, or any glasswares. It could be any of that. So certainly, but so far they got good brands out here. They got a Container Store, Office Depot, and Staples. Heck, don't be surprised if Best Buy gets in this too. You never know. On to the second topic from Supply Chain Dive. Shortages cost Sally Beauty $15 million in lost sales. Now, I'm only bringing up Sally's Beauty Supply because it's a great example of the cost of shortages and also the cost of not having inventory that your customer cannot even buy the item. Sally Beauty is working to add more visibility to its supplier operations after raw material shortages led to an estimated $15 million in lost sales during the second quarter, said CEO Denise Palonis. The beauty supplier is working to better communicate with vendors about where backlog exists following stock out top-selling SKUs. Sally Beauty is getting more specific with suppliers on where the company is seeing the most customer demand. Raw material shortages among suppliers were acute in April and May before improving in June, according to Polonis. The company expects that supply constraint won't fully resolve until fiscal year 2023. Now, $15 million in sales in the second quarter. Could you believe that? That is a lot of money. Now, it's not just them. I'm sure if you go to Best Buy, you can see empty racks. You go to Target, empty racks. You go to Walmart, definitely. You go to the mall, I'm sure you see it too. Heck, there's even Rolex shortages, watch shortages these days. It's unbelievable. Electronics too. We're just now getting PlayStation, but the fact is that Sony lost probably billions and billions of dollars of sales revenue for not having enough PlayStation 5s. Don't even be surprised if we also run out of Christmas light shortages. That would not be a great year. It would not be a great year if there's shortages in Christmas light supplies. Even Christmas trees. That would be one sad Christmas. It will be a one sad Christmas. So that is a cause of shortages. Now, these brands, for some reason, and I'm gonna punish them, is that they do not plan ahead. As you know, if you've been listening to me for many times, you better put in that order now. Reserve the raw materials, reserve the supplies, reserve the capacity at the factory, reserve everything. Even if you have an overstock, it's better to have an overstock than not, because if you have an overstock, then at least you can put it at the discounted rate. It's better than not having overstock. Not having inventory. If you do not have inventory, obviously you can't create sales. So hopefully these brands would learn. Certainly, I do not feel sorry for Sally Beauty Supplies because I don't think they were listening to me. I don't even think they even know this podcast even exists. But the fact is that they just need to plan correctly. I'm gonna say it again. If you are a brand, no matter what you are, who you are, as you know, Black Friday is coming up. If you did not reserve your Black Friday items by February or March, you're done. you're not going to have supplies. You're not going to have inventory. You're not going to make sales, especially on Black Friday. Everyone knows Black Friday is the biggest sale of this year. So certainly Sally Beauty Supply is not the only one that's facing this issue. On to the third topic from supplychaindive.com. Sprite shifting from green to clear bottles to boost recycling. I like Sprite, but I don't know why they need to change to clear plastic bottles from their green bottles. Coca-Cola is switching Sprite bottles from green to clear. PET plastic in North America, which the company said will increase their likelihood of being recycled into new beverage bottles. Transition will begin this month. Other brand packaging green plastic bottles, including Fresca, Mellow Yellow, and Seagram Ginger Ale, will shift to clear plastic bottles in coming months. The company is also transitioning in a majority of Dazati water bottles in North America to 100% recycled PET plastic. Coca-Cola said the shift would save 20 million pounds of virgin plastic compared to 2019 and cut more 25,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emission in 2023. As Coca-Cola and other beverage makers work to create the circular plastic packaging economy in which all materials are reused or composed, they are seeking ways to boost availability of food-grade art plastic. So you're telling me that your bottles is never recyclable or hard to recycle? I knew that, but I'm sure the people who talk about this climate change, this recycle thing, or this sustainability thing never knew that. If I was one of those people, I would be pissed. Because you're telling me that all this time Coca-Cola is pledging less carbon emissions is now just doing this. Now, I would be pissed. So, the move to transition from green plastic is intended is intended to increase the amount of recycled plastic that can be used for food packaging. Coca-Cola said in its press release announcing the new bottles, the company said that in green and other colored plastic are often remade into single-use items like clothing and carpeting that cannot be recycled into new plastic bottles. Well, how about we make plastic just be more recyclable? After it's being made to something else, again, why can't it be recyclable? It doesn't make absolute sense. You see, these brands, these corporate brands, are not really fully 100% on this recycle thing. They don't really care about the climate change. If they did, they would do more. They would have done this a long time ago. It's not just Coke, it's also Pepsi. It's also other brands out there, these water brands, maybe Smart Water. Come on. If they really care, they would have gone aluminum. At least aluminum is much more recyclable than plastic. I prefer aluminum or any types of metals because again, you could easily reuse them. Easily. But obviously it's too bad that Sprite is going to change from from green to clear. So the famous green Sprite is no more. Absolutely shocking. Also, instead of plastic, why can't it just make it a green bottle? A glass bottle. Like they used to in the 1990s, 1980s, and 1970s. They used that green Sprite bottle. I miss those actually. But you know what? I can't believe they're just doing this now. That's when you know that these corporate brands are just nothing but just pretenders. On to the last topic from Hypebae. Richemont sell 50.7% of its Yoox Net-a-Porter stake. For those who don't know, Net-a-Porter is a big website, online retailer for the female side, to the female side, Net-a-Porter. So, the French luxury company Richemont has confirmed the sales of its 50.7 stake in Yoox Net-a-Porter to Farfetch and Symphony Global. Could you believe that? Farfetch is gonna own 50.7% of Net-a-Porter. Farfetch will have the ability to acquire the remaining shares as it receives majority stake from Richemont. According to Business of Fashion, Farfetch will acquire 47.5% of Richemont, while Symphony Global, an investment company, is set to acquire the remaining 3.2% of Net-a-Porter. This investment in work we will do Farfetch platform solutions for Net-a-Porter. As a result of the new agreement, Net-a-Porter no longer has a majority stakeholder in the company, though Farfetch is likely to be next in line. Richemont first acquired a 95% controlling stake in the online retailer back in 2018. Wow, unbelievable. So what is the future of Net-a-Porter? Also, what about Mr. Porter? What's gonna happen? Well, most likely it's gonna get acquired and it's gonna be a standalone online retailer because not everybody buys from Farfetch. Also, Farfetch is almost like a broker. It's almost like the middleman between you and the seller. So it cannot take the place of Net-a-Porter. I think Net-a-Porter is too big to fail. But then again, I may be wrong, you never know. But I do think that Net-a-Porter will stay as is because Farfetch is different and Net-a-Porter is different. So it's going to be interesting as the landscape of these online retailers is going to be. And definitely Farfetch seems like it's getting bigger and bigger. Am I a fan of Farfetch? Not really, but I know there's a market for it. If you like stuff from overseas, then Farfetch can definitely help you with that. If you just like shopping in one site, Net-a-Porter is basically your all-in-one shopping when it comes to fashion. So this is why I think these two are different, and these two will run alongside each other, and they're not gonna compete. Now, don't get me wrong, there are stuff in Net-a-Porter, there are stuff in Farfetch, and vice versa. But again, I think their selling or marketing is much more different. So there was a time when Net-a-Porter was big. Everyone knows Net-a-Porter. Everyone was selling to Net-a-Porter. But with this, it seems like Richemont is definitely not confident with Net-a-Porter. But you know what? I think Richemont probably made enough money to just let it go. And I truly hope that Net-a-Porter does stay because I do think that they have great products, high-end products, definitely, and people love going to Net-a-Porter. I know Net-a-Porter has huge fans, and people only buy from Net-a-Porter because whether it be the service, the delivery, or even the products. And so that basically concludes this Mr. Informal Podcast 203. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you listened to me from beginning to end, and if you did, I do appreciate it. Certainly, I hope that you learned something today or gave you some insight that you never knew before, and I would definitely be glad if you felt that way. And so this concludes the Mr. Informal Podcast 203. Please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MisterInformal, and then check out my website, mrinformal.com, mrinformal.com. And so I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.